What's up guys, Moniz here, and the LG G3 was an amazing smartphone for 2014, but it definitely wasn't perfect. Now that the G4 is out, it's getting amazing reviews, especially related to the camera and the display. Now maybe you're a G3 user wanting to upgrade to the G4, or maybe you're just someone who's coming from a different manufacturer and wants to know the differences between both of these devices. Well, in this video we're going to answer that question for you. So without wasting any more time, let's hop right into it. Let's start off with the design, and at first glance, both phones look pretty much the same. A large form factor with rear-mounted buttons on the back that control the power and volume controls. I've gotten used to the button placement, which differs from other phones placing them on the side. In fact, sometimes I actually prefer it. Both phones have a brushed plastic design giving them a sleek look with little to no bezel on the front of the device. However, the G4 has the option of buying the phone with a leather back cover as opposed to the plastic one. There also happens to be more color options as well. Unfortunately, in Canada, we are limited to only the black leather version and the plastic ceramic one. Damn it, LG, if you're listening, bring the red leather option to Canada. The vegetable tanned leather provides better grip and offers more of a premium feel, especially when compared to the G3. The G4 is slightly taller, wider, and heavier, but it's hard to tell the difference in weight between these two phones. The curved display on the G4 offsets this by making the phone feel much narrower. Both phones still offer a removable battery, which has become a rarity in today's market. And it also happens to have a micro SD card slot, allowing you to insert up to 128 gigabytes of extra storage space. Now you're probably wondering whether or not the curved display offers the user any real benefit while using the phone. Now I'll tell you what I did notice. When I held the phone in my hand, it feels a lot more comfortable. When I'm watching media or reading text in portrait mode, I really didn't feel there was any benefit from a viewing experience. When I turned the phone to landscape mode to watch a video, things did feel a little bit more immersive. But of course, this could be all psychological. But one thing's for sure, because the curve is so slight, it really doesn't take away from the user experience at all. So it's definitely not a bad thing. Since I'm talking about the display, that brings me to my next topic. Both phones have a 5.5-inch Quad HD display with a resolution of 2560 by 1440. QHD seems to be the requirement these days, and LG was one of the earlier adopters. The display on the LG G3 has its quirks though, and even though the resolution is nice and high, the screen on the G3 looks dull and dark with a noticeable scrolling effect when reading text. Because of this, the screen on the G4 has been significantly improved. The new IPS quantum display, not to be confused with quantum displays on TVs, has reached a new level of quality, which is the DCI film standard. It's not as saturated as a panel found on a Samsung Galaxy device, but offers a more balanced color spectrum, making this one of the best displays on a smartphone today. Next up is software and performance, and LG continues to use Qualcomm's processors in their phones. The G3 uses a Snapdragon 801 and the Adreno 330 GPU, and the RAM capacity varied from 2 to 3 gigabytes depending on the storage offering of the device. The 801 processor is fast and capable and offers a great user experience that's evident when using the G3. On the other hand, the G4 offers today's top-of-the-line specs and uses the Snapdragon 808 processor and the Adreno 418 GPU. It has 3 gigabytes of RAM and is offered with 32 gigabytes of internal storage. Needless to say, the experience is fast and fluid, and more so from the previous generation. The LG UX interface on the G3 has a lot of features that no one really used, such as the Q-Slide apps. They took up a lot of space, especially in the quick settings menu. Once the G3 was upgraded to Lollipop, a lot of the bugs were fixed, and the overall user experience became more enjoyable. With the G4, the UI has been cleaned up for the better. Knock Knock and Dual Window are still present, and smart settings help provide some neat features such as opening up your choice of music app when you plug your headphones, changing the sound profile based on your location, and updates about the weather and warnings regarding apps that are draining your battery. Overall, the software has improved and been toned down to provide a more fluid user experience. Finally, let's talk about the camera. And the camera on the LG G3 is 13 megapixels with an f2.4 aperture that does a great job of taking pictures. It was one of the better cameras you can get on a phone in 2014. It has optical image stabilization, laser autofocus, and LED flash. Low light photography wasn't too bad due to OIS, and taking a regular photo using auto mode takes good photos most of the time. It's also capable of recording in 4K, which is a first in LG's lineup of flagship devices. They also introduced some hand gestures to take selfies with for the front-facing camera. On the other hand, the G4 brought its camera experience to a new level. They bumped up the megapixels to 16 and increased the aperture to f1.8 to allow in more light and provide better depth of field. With that came improved laser autofocus, a larger sensor, and a color spectrum sensor to allow better white balance. The camera app itself now includes a manual mode that allows you to use the histogram, change shutter speed, ISO, and a few other features that you only find on DSLRs. And finally, you can now shoot raw photos, allowing you to edit your images in production. Here are some shots between the two cameras. The LG G3 is still a very capable phone, and you can probably get a good deal on it if you buy it through eBay, or you can probably get it for $0 with your carrier on a contract. It still provides a good overall user experience, and ever since it got upgraded to Android 5.0 Lollipop, it still offers a lot of value. The G4, on the other hand, is a different story. It is probably one of the best smartphones you can buy in 2015, with improvements across the board that make it a very worthy option. Now, if you currently have a G3, I'd probably wait until the G5 comes out a year later, and if you have the G2, I would definitely consider getting the G4 instead. So what do you guys think of the G3 and the G4? And if you're gonna buy one of them, let me know which one you're gonna buy in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit that like button, and also don't forget to subscribe. And if you wanna read more, don't forget to visit MobileSyrup.com. And I'll see everybody in the next video.